Welcome, everyone.
Happy Thursday.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
We are in for a treat tonight, you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't believe it's the beginning of week 3 already.
Yeah.
I'm really getting used to this and enjoying it, and it's becoming a very much the anchor of my day.
Mine too. Paula, you're upside down or sideways. I'm getting a little thank you. Thanks for fixing my so good to see everybody. Karen, I'm still recovering. Thanks from 2 days ago. Hey Larry. Good light today. Great seeing you. That's awesome.
Did you guys get the email about our speaker tonight?
Well, I can tell you who's not coming, unfortunately.
Neil,
who is recovering from an eye surgery and that has been dragging and not going very well. So we are sending him love and support.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would have loved to be here.
Definitely.
And he had a last minute, so it must have been really hard for him. So really sending him a lot of love from here. And,
Yes.
And instead, Shannon is going to be
presenting tonight's guide.
But before that,
we will be enjoying a session of integration and kind of revisiting the last week and connecting with each other, because it's really becoming our favorite part of this, I think, is getting to know each and every one of you members of this very special group.
Rom, and I'm going to ask you to sit down. That's it. This is my adopted kid here, my rebel adopted kid. Thank you. My goodness.
So by now you all know Komala, I think, if you've been here for the intro session or the integration session between week 1 and 2. And Komala will be co-facilitating today with us, the integration portion of tonight. And then we will have our very own Amir Glogau giving us some incredible speech session talk on soul leadership.
I have no idea.
I just have to wave to Mackenzie over there.
Yeah. So good to see you, Mackenzie.
So I think we may have a couple more trickle in, but Komala, I'm happy to hand it over to you now if you're ready.
Yes. All right, so week 2 is coming to a close and we're starting week 3. So we're going to start with a practice of actually going within, and we're going to look into what week 2 brought us, and then we're going to go into what week 3 is going to bring us. So I'm going to ring my little bell. And I'm going to invite you to find that comfortable position that allows you to be both aware, alert, and comfortable within yourself. And the theme of week 3 is going within. So let's practice and remember what it means to go within. You can either allow your eyes to be softly open or closed. And if they're open, perhaps lowering your gaze. And allowing yourself to settle in your body. And again, welcoming yourself into this moment. Noticing your breath flowing in and out of your body as your chest is lifting and relaxing. Sensing your body seated. And as this awareness deepens, you might allow for your body to settle into a sense of steadiness, restfulness, yet alertness. A sense of welcoming yourself and a sense of belonging, both within you and also within this group. Now, let's take a few deep breaths. Few deep diaphragmatic breath, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Allowing your body and energy to be enlivened on the in-breath, and allowing a sense of relaxation and release of tension to deepen on the out-breath. Notice how it feels to settle within. Allowing your breath now to return to its natural rhythm. And take a few moments. Just follow the breath, the sensation of the breath, whether it's your nose, your chest, or your belly. Notice how you're breathing in and breathing out. Let's take a few moments to lock in what we've learned in week 2. As I mention each lesson, tune into what you're taking away. On day 1, we went into passion and purpose with Tim Kelly. On day 2, we learned about establishing boundaries with Illens. What were your takeaways? What was important? Day 3 was so much fun, learning how to deepen personal communication with Nick. What are you taking away? What are you moving forward with? On day 4, Cynthia taught us how to quiet negative self-talk. Dr. Francois helped us to understand resilience on day 5. On day 6, Karen taught us how to align with the creative power. What was remarkable? What did you learn? What are you moving forward with? And yesterday, we learned how to find clarity with Akosua. Take another moment to enjoy and lock in your results from week 2. What did you learn in the second week about nurturing yourself? How are you going to move this forward? What are you shifting in your life? What's important about nurturing yourself? Now, I'd like to welcome you to week 3. And our theme for this week is to go within. For a few moments, let's consider and set our intentions for this week. So I want to invite you to contemplate the following questions. How do you currently create space in your life to nurture the space within? I repeat, how do you currently nurture and create space in your life for going within? And for a moment, remember, either from earlier in this practice or from other moments in your life, how is it like when you feel deeply rooted in your being? And connect with that feeling now. What is it like to rest within? And then the third question, how much time do you want to set aside for your daily practice and when? Again, how much time every day do you want to set aside for your practice and when. And then I'd like you to get something to write with. And if you have it handy and you have a printout of your Reclaim Yourself journal, find that week 3, day 1 spot. And I would invite you to write down a few notes about what you discovered in our opening practice. How do you currently create space in your life to nurture that place of going within? How much time do you want to set aside for your daily practice, and at what time of the day? What are you committing yourself to for this week? And then maybe going forward, what's a good time for your daily practice? And when in the day? And then as you remember that moment of feeling deeply rooted in your being, and as you connected with that sensation, what is that like? Can you describe that in words? And Shannon, if you want to, you can prepare breakout rooms. So as you're finishing up writing, we're going to do that thing that we most long for. We're going to actually go into breakout rooms with each other. And we're going to have about 6 minutes. And I am putting 3 questions or, 3 things to think about in your breakout room in the chat. Name the most important result you're taking away from week 2. What does it feel like when you're settled within? And concerning practice, what is your commitment for this coming week? And if you forget what these 3 are, I put them in the chat for you so you can read them while we're in the breakout room. All right, Shannon, whenever you're ready.
I have them ready for 2 to 3 participants. Does that feel right?
Yes, that's perfect.
Great. I'm joining now. If you can, please join the breakout room that you're requested to join. Oh, we lost.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Welcome back.
Yes. And Shannon, actually, I wanted to pass it over to you, maybe inviting everybody to put a couple of words that you want in the chat, and maybe Shannon will read those back later to you. And then Shannon, I'm going to give it to you and the amazing presenter of the day.
Yes, if you want to drop in the chat how you're feeling, kind of what the last 2 weeks have been for you, or anything from the breakout session, we love hearing from you guys. And I'm very excited to present my partner and co-founder, Amir Glogau, sharing his magic of soul leadership, which I've heard live before, and I'm excited to hear it again. I don't have a bio presented for you.
What?
I know, I'm sorry.
You're kidding me?
Let's see.
No, it's just.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Would you like me to move out of the frame?
No,
Okay.
stay in the frame. It's all good. As a matter of fact, I want everybody in the frame. I don't want to see myself. I want to see everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. So really excited. I'm just a feeler here. I'm instead of Anil. I typically do this presentation in a business context, right? So I've turned around 12 businesses from about bankruptcy or in bankruptcy into prosperity. I've done many M&As and mergers and acquisitions and whatever in the corporate world. But today I want to take a different spin, and I want to talk about a different turnaround I'm still making in my life. So I believe we all have been in different phases in life and in different challenges, and I have been in a lot of personal stress and hurt people and challenged with situations and affected a lot of things around me that really created a lot of emotions of, from early childhood to later in life of, guilt and trauma and pain and I chose to change that. I chose to change that story. And this is the turnaround of my life. And I want to tell you the story of how I do that in business, and maybe it can be applied in the personal life too. So I've had many friends over the years suggested that I develop a method, like I share how do I turn businesses around. And I really went down, multiple rabbit holes before I created what I call soul leadership. And it's essentially, so every business that I got into that was distressed, and myself included, if I can consider that, a unit, was misaligned. And the misalignment is of three different things. One is the intentions, the choices, and actions. And when those are misaligned, then we get an outcome that is a little out of harmony and balance. And I want to ask everybody to drop in the chat for a second. What is your intention and purpose for being here right now? Why are you guys here? So when I talk, and I think, do we see that chat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. That's
Really
awesome. Good. Yeah, that's awesome. So soul community, to realign, to be more aligned with myself, reconnect, community. That's awesome. So I believe that the strongest gravitational power that works on us is not actually the earth gravity, is however we want to feel. So I believe that if we want to feel loved, we will feel loved. And if we want to feel nurtured, we will feel nurtured. And we will manifest however we intend to feel. So when I talk about intentions, I actually talk about emotional intentions. Developing an awareness to how do I want to feel. And it's very subtle, but when you talk to people in the worldly, not necessarily in the godly community, you know, what's your intentions? Well, I want to buy a house. I want to buy a car. I want to live on the beach. I want to be married. I want to have a job. I want to make so much money. I want to. But really, what we want is what we believe to be the emotion that comes out of that. Even being on a spiritual journey, we believe in the back of our mind that if we will be on a spiritual journey, we will feel a certain way. So what do we believe? That what is it that drives us to go and explore? One of two things: either something we don't like how we feel right now, what Abraham Hicks calls resistance, or what do we want to feel? I want to feel in harmony and ease. And so I chose for myself that I want to feel a sense of belonging. I want to feel creative. I want to feel in my power. I want to feel valuable. I want to be in service and have meaning and leave a legacy. That's how I wanted to feel. And once I chose that, it changed something within me, deep. And it's not something that happens every second. It's like, instantly. It happens over time. So I'll get back to that, but that's the first layer, emotional intention. The second layer is choices. And choices is really the lens through which we see life. The interpretation we give to what's happening around us. Is it for me? Is it against me? Am I, why did I hurt somebody? Or why did I get injured? Or why? And we get into all sorts of interpretation, the storytelling that really makes it feel one way or another. And if you don't mind, I know we only have 21 minutes. I did not practice timing myself for 21 minutes, but I do want to share a very quick video with you that I really love. I'm sure that many of you have seen, but I want to share it in this context.
Once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer who lost a horse, ran away. And all the neighbors came round that evening and said, "That's too bad." And he said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back and brought 7 wild horses with it. And all the neighbors came around and said, "Why, that's great, isn't it?" And he said, "Maybe." The next day, his son was attempting to tame one of these horses and was riding it and was thrown and broke his leg. And all the neighbors came round in the evening and said, "Well, that's too bad, isn't it?" The farmer said, "Maybe." And the next day, the conscription officers came around looking for people for the army. And they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. And all the neighbors came round that evening and said, "Isn't that wonderful?" And he said, "Maybe." The whole process of nature is an integrated process of immense complexity. And it is really impossible to tell whether anything that happens in it is good or bad, because you never know what will be the consequences of the misfortune, or you never know what will be the consequences of good fortune.
So maybe, right? So and it was great to see Paten. He can sit with us. Why is he? What is it? You have the +1, right? So the interpretation that we give to something when it happens to us, whether it's, you know, financial distress, whether it's divorce, whether it's pandemic, whether it's, that's the choice that I believe is the second layer. And the third layer is what kind of action do we take? And I divide action to two aspects. One is method and the other one is discipline. So for some people, you know, if we want to lose weight, you know, we had a conversation about it earlier, and if we want to lose weight, you know, what's the intention behind it, right? How do I want to feel? What's the choice of where I'm at right now? How do I judge myself? I'm not good enough, whatever. But when it comes to action, what kind of method do I choose to apply to eat in a more healthy, to live? If I wanted to feel that I'm in my sacred temple and I wanted to feel vitality and, you know, exercise and excited, the word I was looking for. And I want to be able to do all the things that the world offers me to do with ease and with joy. And then I want to be in a lighter body. And so the discipline, the method that I choose, I need to find the right method for me. And, you know, it could be in business, it could be different things, just in time or theory of constraints, right, Lisa? It could be different methods. And whatever method I choose, I have to apply with a certain discipline. So if I choose to meditate every day for 15 minutes, I have to apply some discipline to that to really get the effect. Otherwise, I don't give myself a fair chance to really manifest however I wanted to feel in the beginning of the process. So I believe that when those three elements are aligned, we operate from a higher self. We really, when that is aligned, it's almost like, you know, think about vertebrates. Vertebrates, is it?
Vertebrae.
Vertebrae. When they get in place, there is an ease and flow, and then they connect, you know, to our brain and maybe even beyond that. So like things that clicks in place, and we can then connect to our higher self with more ease without necessarily practice that. So it's a little tricky because now when I recognize that if I get frustrated about something, then I immediately know I chose to be frustrated about it. Some part in me said, okay, there is a little bit more workout here. Why don't we get frustrated or angry or disappointed or whatever those undesired emotions that can help us heal and develop and, you know, whatever is unresolved within us. So trying to think, I think that's it. I mean, I can talk a little more and I can give some more examples, but and I would love to open it if anybody wants to ask questions. Like I said, so I think I started with sharing that, you know, this is the turnaround of my life. This is not a turnaround of business. Those of you who knows Enneagram, I'm a type 2, I'm a fixer. I need to fix, and recognizing that I need to fix not just everybody else. I need to fix myself first. Not that I'm broken, but the self came to learn something here. So yes, my dearest Komela, my teacher and my guide.
And vice versa. I just want you guys to know I got to be so lucky to actually ask Amir for some advice, and it was really awesome. Amir, you earlier mentioned something about you learned some lessons from overcoming difficulties. What have you learned about overcoming difficulties and how do you apply it? What's your method?
So my method was that I really manifested the way I felt, that I needed to do something really bad to be rejected, to justify why I feel bad about myself, to be, you know, it's almost, you think I'm crazy, I'll be crazy. You think, or, right, I mean, it's like, and when I changed that story, it becomes different. When I accepted that, rebel, it's no longer, it doesn't need that voice anymore. So I think the clarity about how I would like to feel is the most fundamental teaching, and be able to communicate that. And by the way, not just on a general lifelong, like, how do I want to feel in life? It can be, how do I want to feel right now in this session? And then I go back to Abraham Hicks, they call it segment intentions, right? So setting up intentions before you pick up the phone, before I answer Kromela, before, how do I want to feel?
I have a follow-up question for you. When you make a mistake and you feel that sense of frustration, how do you get back to that soul connection?
It takes me a minute, right? Or a day, or sometimes it's a process. So even when so the journey is really from understanding it to feeling it, right? To the longest journey in our life, as we all know, is from our head to our heart. So I can be, angry, frustrated, whatever, and I know that, I did not take care of my own needs. I did not create my space. I did not, whatever it is. And I was not really setting up my emotional intentions and taking responsibility for that with myself first and foremost. So I think it's awareness and intention. That's it goes back to me. Does that answer your question, Kromela? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, Rebecca.
I absolutely love what you said. And I love the 3 steps. It is such a great reminder because I facilitated an event that I do on a regular basis, but this event was at a new location, and I was very excited about the land and the grounds and where we were going to hold this event at. But something just wasn't feeling right for me. And it was a successful event, but at the end of the event, I just still wasn't feeling like there was that connection for me, even though there was something else pulling me. But I walked away and I said, I don't think I can do it here again. And then I hear from the woman who I was working, whose land it was. And after I hung up the phone with her, it was very clear now, hearing what your steps are, it's clear that emotionally, I didn't care for the way I felt in the interaction. It wasn't like a divine connection. It wasn't something that made me feel good. So that's such a really great reminder that it's an emotional intention. What's the intention emotionally that you want to have? And that's so good. I didn't actually think of it that way. So thank you.
Thank you. I heard in your story a subtle other story, which has to do with rejection. Like there is something, not right for you or for that. And for me, as a child, I experienced a lot of rejection. And I think I provided others in my life sense of rejection. And I think it's those type of nuances, and say, hey, I wanted to manifest some rejection here because there is a part in me that I'm still not owning and accepting.
And you're probably absolutely right. Yeah. Thank you. The woman, wants me back, but it's not there is
There's no alignment.
Yeah. It's out of alignment. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Rebecca. One last question?
Yeah.
Anybody else? No? Awesome.
So I know I didn't start you with a bio, but I feel like I must say, as your partner, and that we wouldn't be here without your vision and mission, and you're an incredible leader for us here at Guidely and driving us forward. And feel very lucky to be sitting next to you.
Thank you.
And with all of you.
Thank you. I feel very lucky and blessed and in this safe container with all of you and with you. And it's incredible. So thank you so much for being here today. Feel free to drop any comments here or questions or reach out later. Much love to you all, and we'll see you. Who do we have tomorrow?
Oh, who do we have tomorrow? We were a little thrown off with the thank you. Oh goodness, I'm losing it. The quick switch in I just looked too. The quick switch in scheduling, and it's got me a little discombobulated. Join us tomorrow again for we're back to our 21-day sessions as we continue week 3 of Going Within. Tomorrow we have Creating Tension and Discomfort as a spiritual practice with Dina Tibbs.
Oh,
She is a creative guide and artist. I think we're going to have some fun tomorrow. She gave me a little sneak peek. So become open and excited.
so awesome. Thank you all for joining today, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. Well,
Thank-
unmute.
Oh,
Yeah.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.